Are you saying that I'm not balanced?
Okay, within your report, which looked at whether there was a genocide being committed in Gaza, which Israelis did you speak to?
Lawyers, organizations, forensic experts, historians. Even the Israeli government received by reports. They were given a week to provide comments and they didn't. Look, history is replenished of settler colonial genocides, and there is no symmetry. And what you are trying to push for, and this is what I perceive, is a false equivalency between the occupied population and the occupier, between the people whose land has been taken inch by inch, home by home, for whatever remained of their land for 57 years, without even talking of what they've done from the end of British colonialism forward. So excuse me, there is nothing in what I've said that has not been a humanizing discourse toward both the Palestinians and Israelis, because I think both of them are victims of an ideology, of ideological hatred turned into political doctrine. It has nothing to do with the Israelis. I assess the performance of a government based on the mandate that I was given by the United Nations. And if I find that there are violations of international law, it's not my job to try to find the balance, whatever you are talking about. I need to tell the truth. And of course, I've tried to engage with the Israeli government since the very beginning of my mandate, including during this year of genocide. The government doesn't answer my calls. The government doesn't reply to my letters. The government doesn't reply on my reports and requests for clarifications. What the government does, in my case, is engaging in smears and declaring me persona non grata.
I absolutely understand your reports. I absolutely understand your qualification. I'm trying to understand, with your credentials, with the research and the work that has gone into your reports, I'm trying to understand why they're being dismissed, why UN Watch has complained about you, why the US last month, the US ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, said the US believes you are unfit for your role. I'm trying to understand where that criticism comes from.
Do you really want to understand? Why don't you ask why South Africa or Chile or Brazil or the entire global South, who knows what a genocide is, why do they support me? Why 30, the biggest Jewish organizations who also condemns Israel have stood in my defense steadily, why hundreds of Jewish scholars have stood in my defense, while rabbinical schools are coming to my talks and thanking me. I wonder. On the other hand, yes, I wonder why Israel is upset with me since I accuse it of a genocide. They should be cheering, right? And the US, which is complicit with what Israel is doing, I wonder why they accuse me. Why don't they embrace my findings?
Because why don't they embrace your findings?
That my findings are correct. It comes responsibility to act.
And so why aren't they acting?
I come from a tradition, let me tell you. I come from a legal tradition in a country where judges have been killed for standing against power, for exposing what the infrastructure of illegality was. I'm not scared by a few member states who disagree with me.
Look, your findings in brief, and we've only got a few more minutes left, was that the threshold, there were reasonable grounds to believe that the threshold indicating the commission of the following acts of genocide against Palestinians in Gaza has been met: killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to group's members, and deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. There's a clear difference, a clear disconnect on what you found and what Israel says is happening in Gaza, what they see as justification for their actions. In order to find a way through the difference, both Palestinians and Israelis will need to work together. Can they and will they?
The thing is that when it's a logical process, that when you accuse someone or an institutional entity of a crime, the reaction is to dismiss those crimes, not to say, and also what Israel does is character assassination. But the point is that why there are no journalists reporting from Gaza, while 187 Palestinian journalists have been killed. Why this is the only conflict in brackets area in the world where there have been no one foreign correspondent entering other than a few accompanying the army. This is the reality. Let's pay attention to the fact that the people in Palestine don't have even the acknowledgement of their suffering, which didn't start on October 7, but has continued. And of course, I have in my heart both the Palestinians and the Israelis, because eventually all are human beings. The only way for them to live in peace is for member states to choose whatever they have always avoided, complying with international law, which
Okay.
in the situation of Palestine means three things: end the genocide or end the war, have a ceasefire. Second, end the occupation, because this has been ordered by the International Court of Justice, and then end apartheid. Everyone will be fine, will be safe, will have peace when there will be freedom and dignity for all between the river and the sea.